You're eating less than you did at 30, maybe cleaner than you ever have in your life. You cut the sugar, you count your calories, you get your steps in, and your belly is still getting bigger. And that's the part that stings the most. You're doing everything right, and your body seems to be working against you. So, let's be clear. This is not in your head, and it is not a willpower problem. After 40, your body quietly changes one specific rule of the game, and if you keep training and eating the old way, you are literally feeding the exact fat you're trying to lose. In the next few minutes, I'll show you what actually changed inside you, why your old methods now backfire, and the 4 things that genuinely reverse it. Stay until number 4. It's the one people skip, and without it, the other 3 only half work. Let's start with the lie you've been sold your whole life. Eat less, move more, and the fat comes off. In your 20s and 30s, that mostly worked. Ate too much? Add some cardio, and it balanced out. So when that lever suddenly stops working at 40, your brain draws the logical conclusion, I must not be doing enough. So you eat even less, add even more cardio, tighten the screws harder, and in response, the belly only grows. That is the trap. Because the calorie math didn't break, the machine that burns those calories did. 2 things changed inside you quietly, without a single symptom at the same time. Your hormones and your muscle. And if you don't understand both, every new diet will fail in the exact same way. So let's start with the hormone almost nobody explains properly. In your reproductive years, estrogen does something women almost never thank it for. It tells your body to store fat on your hips and thighs, and to keep it away from your internal organs. It also keeps your muscles sensitive to insulin, so carbs get put to work instead of stored. In plain terms, for years, estrogen quietly protected both your waistline and your metabolism. And then, perimenopause begins. Here's the key part. It does not start on the day your periods stop. It often starts in your early 40s, 5 to 10 years before menopause itself, while you're still having periods. And in this window, estrogen doesn't fall in a smooth, steady line. It swings. It spikes, then crashes. And every time it crashes, that fat storage instruction flips. Fat stops going to your hips and starts moving to your belly. Not under the skin, but deeper around the organs. This is called visceral fat, and it's not just a new body shape you can wait out. Visceral fat is metabolically active. It acts like its own organ, pumping out inflammatory signals and making you even more insulin resistant. And insulin resistance tells your body to store even more belly fat. That's a closed loop that feeds itself. Same food, same steps, same workouts. But the address label on every fat cell just switched from hips to stomach. And it gets worse. While all of this is happening, you're quietly losing the tissue that protected you for years. That tissue is muscle. From your mid-30s, if you're not deliberately doing resistance training, you lose muscle every single year. And after 40, alongside the estrogen drop, that process speeds up. Because estrogen didn't only protect your waist, it helped you build and hold muscle. As it falls, muscle leaves faster than it used to. And here's why that's critical specifically for your belly. Muscle is the most metabolically expensive tissue in your body. It burns calories simply because it exists, around the clock while you work, eat, and sleep. A kilo of muscle spends energy even at complete rest. Lose muscle, and your resting metabolism drops. The calories you burn doing absolutely nothing. Now put the whole picture together. On one side, you're burning fewer calories at rest because you have less muscle. On the other, the calories you do eat are now being shoved straight into visceral fat because estrogen dropped. You didn't get lazy. You didn't lose your discipline. Your engine simply got smaller and rewired. And now it becomes obvious why just eat less doesn't only fail, it backfires. When you cut calories too hard, your body responds by burning even more muscle for fuel, shrinking the engine further. The scale goes down, you're happy, but what left was mostly muscle, not fat. Your metabolism drops even lower. And the moment you go back to normal eating, the belly comes back bigger than before. That's why dieting harder is like pouring water into a bucket that gets a bigger hole every time. And there's a third player, and modern life practically hands it a megaphone. It's cortisol, your stress hormone. Chronic stress, deadlines, constant rushing, and broken sleep keep cortisol permanently elevated. And cortisol has a favorite fat depot, and as you've probably guessed, it's your belly. It parks visceral fat right there, and at the same time spikes your cravings for fast carbs, sugar, and bread, especially at night. Now, add sleep. In perimenopause, it's not only estrogen that falls, but also progesterone, the hormone that helped you sleep calmly. Hence, the night sweats, the hot flashes, and those 3 a.m. wake-ups where you just stare at the ceiling. And poor sleep the very next day raises both your cortisol and your insulin resistance and cranks up your sugar cravings. Notice it? Everything ties into one knot. So here's the portrait. A woman under constant stress, who's underslept, and who's also on a harsh diet, is running all 3 engines of belly fat at once. Low estrogen, low muscle, high cortisol. And if you only attack food, you're fighting just 1/3 of the problem. That is the real, honest reason just eat less never fixes this. So we have to fix the whole system at once. Here are the 4 things that actually work, in order from strongest to weakest. Number 1, and nothing comes close in importance, lift heavy things. Resistance training, with real weight, 2 to 3 times a week, is the single lever that does 3 things at once. It rebuilds the muscle you're losing. It restarts your resting metabolism. It repairs the engine itself. And it pulls glucose out of your blood straight into muscle instead of your belly. And this is not about half-kilo pink dumbbells for 30 reps in front of the TV. This is real weight, genuinely challenging for you, 6 to 12 reps per set, getting heavier over time. And no, this will not make you manly. It's precisely the dropping estrogen that makes building large muscle nearly impossible for a woman. It makes you dense, toned, strong, and honestly, metabolically younger than you were a year ago. Number 2, protein, and you need noticeably more than you're usually told. Aim for roughly 1.6 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of your body weight. Here's why. After 40, your muscles become what scientists call anabolically resistant. They need a stronger protein signal just to respond and start building. On top of that, protein blunts sugar cravings better than any other food and costs the most energy just to digest. And this is critical. Get 30 to 40 grams of protein into breakfast. Breakfast is exactly where most women fall short. Coffee and toast is not protein, and you lose your first muscle signal of the day. Number 3, protect your sleep and drop your cortisol, and treat this not as self-care, but as a direct fat loss tool. Because consistent sleep and real downtime literally lower the very hormone that parks fat on your belly. And here's the key thing about movement. Your best ally is not punishing cardio, it's plain walking. 8 to 10,000 steps a day will do more for your belly than one more exhausting HIIT session that leaves you drained and wired, because that one only adds more cortisol on top. Number 4, and it's the one people skip most, eat enough. Stop the starvation cycle for good. Your goal is not the biggest deficit. It's a small, careful deficit at most, built around protein and fiber, plus your strength training. Then the weight you lose will be fat, not the muscle that's saving you. Remember the one rule: feed your engine, don't shrink it. A strong body burns fat on its own, around the clock. A starving body clings to every single calorie. So, let's bring it all together. Belly fat after 40 is not a verdict on your willpower, and it's not a punishment for being lazy. It's a hormone and muscle problem. Estrogen moved your fat to your belly, muscle loss shrank your engine, and cortisol parked all of it on your waist. The advice to eat less only hits 1/3 of the problem and burns the very muscle that's saving you. What actually works is this: lift heavy, eat real protein, protect your sleep, walk every day, and eat enough. Do that, and your body stops fighting you and starts working for you. If today this finally clicked into one clear picture, subscribe. In the next video, I'll break down exactly how to train in each phase of your cycle, so you stop wasting your strongest weeks and finally start using them. I'll see you there.